So in Hometown University, we're going to be talking about what it takes to make it in today's market. We're going to be going over great ideas to pick up new buyers, to find new sellers, and just work on our work ethic to make sure that we're making it happen every day. Good to see everybody today. So I want to kind of get a feel for who's in the room, how long you've been in the business, just so I can understand kind of what we're working with. I know Tommy, talk to me. How long have you been?
8.5 months.
8.5 months. What's your name, sir?
Mike.
Almost 32 years.
All right.
Almost 3 years.
3 years. All right.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Awesome. I love it. I love it.
About 2 months.
2 months. All right.
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. Awesome.
A year next month.
A year next month. All right.
About a year.
A year.
2 years.
2 years. All right. I know. Yep.
3 days.
3 days. Nice. I love it. You're rolling. There we go. Yeah.
15 years.
Yep.
Almost 2 years.
2 years. All right.
3 years.
3 years. All right.
Almost 2.
2. Yep. Yep.
First week.
First week. Nice.
About 2 years.
All right. And when back?
8 years.
8 years? All right, so perfect. So we've got a little bit of a mixture in here. So what I wanted to find out is just so, let me start off with saying, apologize for being late. So when you look at the veterans that have been in this room, and I think I'm speaking for you, and I think you already know, you're in a B&I group, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I know, Larry, you're in one, right?
Not right now.
The two, oh, you're not? Okay, all right. I know, Ben, you're in a 212, right?
Used to be a 212, I'm in a networking group now. Yeah.
In a networking group. So I have a standing appointment every Wednesday, 11:30 to 1. I go to my my B&I group, right? So these networking groups that we have out here, one of the things that it takes to make it in today's market is I highly encourage, a lot of the veterans in the business will tell you that you get a good networking group. So these networking groups, I don't know, are you guys familiar with those at all? Like 212, B&I, Pro, Synapse. There's lots of them that are in the area. There's lots of spinoffs that are from those. Highly recommend them. Typically have, you know, your cornerstones are your realtor, your financial advisor, your mortgage person, your insurance person, right? From there, you start branching out and you just get solid, good folks that are eager, that are growing their business, and you all share referrals. So I apologize for being late today. Today was actually my 10-minute that I had to have there. So I had to make sure I did that and ran out of there early so I could come over here. So please forgive me for that. So that's my first piece of advice, what it takes to make it in today's market, right? And the other thing we're gonna talk about as well is dedication. So I'm gonna kind of ramble on here for a few minutes, but I really wanna hear from you guys some things that y'all are struggling with, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So if you've been in the business for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 day, that's awesome. So you're here, you're learning. There's, what do they say, 80% of it to 90% of it is just showing up, right? So you got to show up. That's dedication, making sure you're frustrated. You've had a bunch of no's on the phone, right? How many of you get frustrated when you have a bunch of no's in a row on the phone, right? You get frustrated, right? The thing that I remind myself, and I still cold call, I still talk to people, I still get no's. Every time I get a no, you're what?
Closer to a yes.
That much closer to a yes, right? So good, y'all already know that. So what am I even here for? I need to go on out the door. So so dedication to making sure that you're making those phone calls. Don't get frustrated with it. It's part of it. So show of hands, this is their first career? Who in here that this is their first career? All right. So other folks, have you been in sales roles before? Who in here has been in the sales role before they were here? Yes? Not many? Okay, all right. So when you go from either your first career or to maybe it was an office and you're getting into sales, you've got to know that it's a numbers game, right? So that's what it's all about with the dedication, what it takes in today's market. You got to continue to get out there, get in front of folks. So one of the things, a teammate on my team this year, we were talking and she was so excited, right? So one of the things I tell people is that no matter what you're doing, you're always getting the word out about you, about your business. It's getting in front of people. Get to know people. I say people don't care what you have to say until they know that you care, right? How many times have y'all heard that? Y'all heard that a bunch, right? So I tell folks, get involved. If you like to, golf, get in a golfing league. You like to bowl, get in a bowling league, right? Get to know those folks. You'll end up, over time, you'll end up selling houses. It's not gonna happen that day. Maybe they'll send you a referral, but over time, you'll end up selling houses to those folks. There's a girl on my team who said, you know what, Kevin? I've been riding bikes with these folks for several years now. I've known them. We really haven't talked about what we do for a living. We never really talked about it. We just ride our bikes. We just have fun. So I've been harping on her all year long. Look, you need to talk to people, use it. I'm not telling you don't have to have a life. Please, have a life. Go have fun, right? Enjoy what you're doing. But take your passions and let them know what you do. Find out a sly way, and the veterans in the room will probably, and maybe they yell at me, maybe I'm doing it wrong, love to hear what y'all do as well. But just ask them. The question I love to ask is, so if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? Right? And then that leads into, oh, I'm a sales rep at McKesson, or, I sell Bud Light. Great. All right. Whatever you do, right? So, and then naturally they come back and say, well, what do you do? Oh, well, I sell real estate. So I'm glad you asked. I sell real estate. And what is the number one thing people love to talk about?
The market.
How's the market? The real estate, right? So everybody loves to talk about real estate. We're so nervous about putting it out there, but everybody loves talking about it. Do you ever have a lull in a conversation? Just talk about real estate. It's not political. It's nothing. It's not going to get you in trouble. Doesn't matter what you say. We're going to talk about real estate, right? So talk about it. It's fun. So when they say, how's the market? So I'm glad somebody said, how's the market, right? So what's your answer when somebody says, how's the market?
It depends. Are you a buyer, seller, investor?
Yep. That's the line. It depends. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? Are you looking to invest? Well, actually, unfortunately, my aunt just passed away, and I need to go ahead and sell her. She's got a quad that's down here in a fan that I need to sell. Well, great. Let's go talk about that. Let's go take a look at it. Is it rented? Is it not rented? Does it need rehab? Let's talk about that. That's a great market, and you can really peek out at that right now, right? So, yes.
So what happens if they're looking to buy, and you're telling them, oh, it's terrible for buyers right now?
We don't say it's terrible. It's not terrible
Yeah,
for
but you
buyers.
don't know that.
Well, that's why you ask the
Market, you're
question
like,
first.
well,
That's just your opinion.
buyers,
That's-
it's kind of hard.
Interest rates are horrible. Buyers can't get under contract. Just run. Go rent. No. So
You said it depends.
exactly. So it depends. So tell me. So you're looking to buy. Where are you looking to buy?
Okay.
What neighborhood you looking to go in? Well, I tell you what. That is a competitive market. We've had some success in that market. It's gonna, they're very competitive offers. So when we go in, we've got to be ready to roll. We've got to be ready to quick. That's a quick moving market. I think it's kind of a sales field. And again, I'd love to hear what the other folks in the market in the room say to that answer. But for me, I would say, it's a very competitive market. We are getting folks under contract. We've got to roll pretty quickly. I want to set that expectation up front. But let's get out. Let's take a look at a few. And you know what? It's going to take, I tell my team all the time, let's put them in the car. Let's show them some properties. Let's write some offers. We may write an offer that's 10 grand less, asking for closing costs with inspections and everything. And we know it's not going to get accepted, but we have to do it, right? We do it so that we know that we're looking out for the client's best interest. So, hey, I just want to let you know it's very competitive. Most of the other offers are probably at or above asking price. They might be waiving inspections. So, we may want to get a little more aggressive. I'm not ready to do that. Fine, you're not. I'm going to represent you. Let's put this on paper and let's present it and let's see what happens, okay? It's going to take them some time. You're going to be in the car. You're going to write some offers. Everybody's going to get frustrated, but keep reminding them. If you're asking me the advice, do you want what's going to get this house, or do you want what makes you feel good, right? This is what's going to get it. This is where you are. We can keep going. Eventually, they'll bridge the gap. They'll throw up their hands in the air and say, I'm ready to go. Tell me what it takes to get this house. You write it and you get it, right? So, but not all areas. So I say that to the highly competitive areas. I've got 2 contingent offers right now. Anybody know what a contingent offer is?
It's upon financing, right?
Yeah, right. Contingent upon selling a house. So, yes.
King and queen and where else?
Believe it or not, it's in Hanover. But anyway, so yeah, so we actually, so not to say the market's in a huge shift, but in some areas, in some neighborhoods, they are. And you might be lucky enough that that buyer might say, oh yeah, I'm looking at King and Queen, what do you got? Hey, great, we got 4 or 5 trailers, we can sell you right now. So, am I allowed to say that? Is
But
that
again,
politically
that's why you
correct?
kind of start with that question.
Yeah.
If somebody said, how's the market? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's horrible. I've got a buyer that we've written 12 offers on, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be paying 7% interest. Man, it's really tough out there. And they're like, oh, well, I was thinking about buying. Now, now not, but if you ask first.
Yep.
Well, that depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest?
Yeah.
Then you can kind of craft your scripts.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, you know, to that point, in 2008, 9, 10, right? Everybody wanted to jump off of a cliff. Many of you might have been in elementary school at that time. But if, in real estate, there were a lot of folks that wanted to jump off a cliff, right? People were getting out of the market, getting out of real estate, going and finding their real job, right? Because houses were not selling. I remember doing presentations to different groups around town. By the way, another thing to do presentations. Somebody wants to, you know, they have a church group, a networking group, they want a presentation, do a presentation. It's a great way to get your name out there. And I was always positive, right? I mean, I got in the business in 06. So I didn't really see the 05, 04, 05, 06 craziness. I was on the tail end of that. So in 08, I didn't know the difference. I didn't know you were supposed to have multiple offers. I didn't know that houses were supposed to sell in the first day. I thought it was normal. You had to, you know, have your price reduction scripts out, and you had to, you know, houses took a little while. So I was all excited. I'm selling houses. This is great. Life's great, you know. People came to me and said, Kevin, why are you the only real estate agent that's actually positive? Everybody else that I talk to says it's horrible, the market's awful, I can't do anything, nothing's selling, so why would I use them? I'm coming to use you. You seem to be selling everything around. I wasn't selling anything at the time. But hey, you thought I was because I was positive, right? So be positive. Try to take the news, and that's a big thing today. You have all these headlines, the clickbait that's out there, the market's failing, the market's falling. You know, just be positive about it. You know, some areas, in Richmond, it's always a local thing. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. But Richmond, real estate is local, right? It's what's happening in your own backyard. Doesn't matter that California has crazy taxes and people are leaving California for whatever reason, right? All that matters is we still have multiple offers. People are going $500,000 over, paying all cash on properties here in Richmond, right? That's what we need to get out there. That's what folks need to know. So always be positive when you're talking about that. So, what? Tell me, who in here is on the team? Look, awesome, great work. Most everybody in here is on the team. That's fantastic. I have a good friend of mine is down on the peninsula, down in Virginia Beach, and he got into the business and he's been in it for a couple of years. And he was asking Kevin, you know, I just feel like I'm just kind of hitting this wall. You know, I just can't get by. He was on his, you know, he was on his own in one of these random, you know, brokerages, and he just said, I'm just hitting the wall. I can't seem to break free. I can't seem to get these other listings. What do I need to do? I said, go get on the team. I said, you need to go find a top producing agent in the area. He went out, he interviewed for a handful of them. He's been there for less than 30 days. He already has a new listing coming up, and he has a buyer under contract, and he's working with another buyer right now, like within 30 days of joining that team, just because of the motivation around it, the horsepower behind that team and everything else. It's so great work, guys. So great work. All right, what frustrations do you guys have right now in today's market that you want to talk about? I love the fact you asked about buyers. What other great questions do you guys have? Yes.
What do you do to find like resale listings?
Resale listings.
Like resale listings. They're slim. Like what is your?
Yep.
What do you do?
Awesome. So so resale listings. My favorite thing to do is I typically have buyers that are looking in certain areas, right? And so there's not a whole lot on the market, right? So we're all frustrated with that. So you know, you're working with a buyer, you can't find anything, say, all right, I know you wanna be in whatever, West Ham, right? So you can either go, start knocking on doors, whether you like it or not, right? Start knocking on doors. You can pull the tax list, start mailing them directly, and do the one showing letter. Does everybody know what the one showing letter is? So it's a letter where you send them and say, hey, I have a buyer specifically looking for your home in your neighborhood. We'd love to get you in. Are you interested in having a one-time showing of your home, right? So that's another way to do it. If you really want to, you can start pulling call lists, right? So I don't do this, I probably should, but there are systems you probably know about this. You can go out there and you can get area phone numbers, start pulling area phone numbers, and start calling every house in the neighborhood, right? So that's another way. And asking around. So when we're in our networking groups, if I have a buyer that specifically I have one that wants to live on West Avenue. Well, just so happens, in my networking group, one of my guys lives on West Avenue. So I'm like, hey, I got a guy that wants to be your neighbor. Who on your street wants to sell? And I've targeted that street and had 2 phone calls. So it's great. I'm not gonna say every single one is gonna turn into a listing, but every phone call is an opportunity. So, so those are a few ways that I like to use to try to get resale listings. Anybody else want to pipe up and add anything to that?
The big, I guess, trend on some of the coaching and stuff is doing an annual equity review of past clients.
Yes.
So if you sold it, you have to have past clients for that. For yours, you have to have buyers.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, kind of using past clients and saying, hey, has anybody ever gone over an annual equity review with you? Let me show you how much your house could sell for right now.
Yep.
And I get some wheels turning.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly right. Yep.
How are you kind of approaching people that maybe bought basically 2020 or earlier, or maybe they bought in 2015 but then refied in 2020 and they've got this like 2.2 rate? How are you kind of getting them off the fence, or kind of?
It's a great question. So depends. So this is where I'm not the best salesman, and I'll just be straight honest, right? So if you bought your dream house in 2020 and you're sitting in your dream house and you're on a 2% interest rate, I'm not going to try to convince you to move.
You're like, great.
Right? But a lot of folks in 2020 bought a house. It might be their first house. That's 1,200 square feet. They just had a baby. They're expecting to have a baby, and they need a bigger house. Maybe they've had 2 or 3 promotions since then, right? How much more money are people making now? Maybe they bought the house in 2020 out in Louisa, and they decided they're done with the drive, right? They've got it now. They have to go back to the office. They're mad. So, well, I'm tired of the drive now that I'm actually working back in the office again. So let me get back here. So the way that I would approach that is exactly what Tommy just mentioned, which is maybe take a screenshot of what's on Zillow, say, hey, can you believe this is what your house is worth? And send it to them. And hey, this, what's your opinion? What's your opinion of what Zillow thinks your house is worth? And send it to them. So other people might try to sell them hard. I'm not the hard salesman, and I apologize if I'm steering the class in the wrong direction by not doing that, but that's just not my style.
Right.
So, yeah, so, yes.
You used to, or maybe still are, a big open house guy, yeah?
Yes.
What did your open house schedule used to look like? What does it look like now?
Yeah, so what got me through 08 and 09 when everybody was jumping off the cliff is I was doing open houses Saturday and Sunday. I was getting up early in the morning, I was showing buyers before I would go to the open house. I would do the open house and I'd show people in the afternoon after the open house. So highly recommend it. That's where great leads are coming. I'm very fortunate that right now I don't do open houses anymore, but my team is doing them. When they're doing these open houses, every single open house, there's at least 2 to 3 unrepresented buyers that come through there that are real people and ready to buy. Can't tell you enough that open houses are the way to go. If you want buyers right now, if you want to pick up people, it's not a random Facebook lead. It's not a random Zillow lead that you may or may not call back. If they have the gumption to get in that car and take their Sunday or Saturday afternoon and come see you, there's motivation, right? There's motivation. And I'm blown away the number of people that show up that have not talked to an agent yet. And they're ready to go. So highly, highly, highly recommend open houses. Yes.
In that recommendation, how do you approach them to find out if they are represented? Because everybody that I have seen in an open house have said they were represented.
Everybody.
So I must
Mhm.
not be approaching it right.
So here's a question, when do you ask that question?
Probably in the beginning.
Is that like the second sentence you say to them or something like that?
No, it
Okay.
isn't.
It's not,
I
okay.
introduce myself
Okay,
and,
good.
you know, I tell them some things about the house.
Perfect.
And then, do you have an agent you're working with?
Yep, perfect. So, all the open houses that I went to, so you're there, right? So you're there, you've got the time, you know, you can't do anything else while you're there, and you've got people that come through. So what I like to do is I like to carry on the conversation. Hey, it's great to see you. What brings you out today? And I just carry on the conversation. What are you looking for? Where do you currently live? How long have you been there? I'm not even talking about the house, right? I don't even know if there's a kitchen in this house. All I want to know is what are you looking for? Where do you live? And what's your motivation to get out of where you are right now, right? So about 5 minutes into that conversation, I'll go ahead and say, or somewhere naturally in there, if they say they have a house, well, are you gonna need to sell that house? Actually, yes. Well, have you had anybody come out and take a look at that house and tell you what it's worth? No, I haven't. Well, great. Well, what's your schedule like Tuesday at 5 o'clock? I'd love to come by there and tell you what your house is worth, right? So when you're in these open houses, your next step, you always gotta, people don't know what their next step is, so you gotta tell them. You gotta give them what their next step is. That's our problem. That's not our problem. That's our job, right? Our job is to coach these folks to let them know, hey, you need to go out there, you need to get your mortgage application. You know, you're out just looking on a Saturday afternoon, let's sit down and talk about the process of how to buy. You need to sell your house first? Well, we really need to figure out what your house is worth. We need to talk to the lender to know, can you buy with selling it or without selling it? We need to know these steps in the process, and we need to be the ones that coach them up and tell them what the next step is. So, what I was laughing about earlier is that I would have so much fun with people when they come in open houses, right? It's like a game, okay? You're gonna come in and you're gonna tell me you have an agent? Oh, great, what's their name? My wife has that. Oh, okay, great. When's the last time you saw them? Like, I'll just keep bugging, like, right? You lied to me?
Yeah.
Game on, buddy, game on, here we go, right? So I just make them feel dumb. Like, if you're gonna lie to me, then I'm gonna make you feel like you're an idiot for lying, and you're not gonna do it to somebody else. Maybe you just did to me, but you're not gonna do it to anybody else, right? So I just like I end up playing with them and have fun. Well, great. So who do they work for again? Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, when's the last time you saw them? When's the last time you talked to them? Okay, well, good. Well, I tell you what. Sounds like it's been a while. You're out here looking at these houses. Would you like to talk to somebody? You know, all of us agents, we do it differently. Would you like to talk to somebody different just to get our approach? You know, maybe it's, hey, we've had great luck of working with off-market houses. You know, would you like to, you know, we've shown some stuff that's off-market, or hey, we have this house right here. I've heard the neighbor a couple of doors down is looking at selling. You want me to try to get you in that house? You know, try to pick something up of what they're looking for and see if maybe you can offer something that, quite frankly, you know, their other agent might not be offering them, right? And so we need to remember that though, but also as agents, we need to remember if our clients are going out to open houses, all the other agents are doing the same thing, right? They're trying to pick up our buyers. They're trying to offer them something that we're not offering. So we need to make sure we're offering everything we can to our clients all the time. So, yeah, sorry, I get excited about that. It's, I had a lot of fun in open houses. It's been a lot of hours in open houses, and you know, again, you're there, you know, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, whatever it is. I have not tried the off hours open houses yet. I know a lot of people have had some success with, you know, 4 to 6 on a Thursday or a Friday open house. Try them all out. Which one do you like the best? You know, you like enjoying having a glass of wine while they come through? Great, go for it. You want to do a Saturday or Sunday? That's great. Do what fits in your schedule. Do what excites you, right? So I love this business. I love getting out. I love showing houses. So I don't mind, you know, that's what I actually just talked about in my B&I group today. I love what I do so much, it's not really work, right? So we hope you all love what you do. And so make sure that when you're doing it, you're enjoying doing it. Now there are parts, I'll go ahead and say this as well, right? Do the boring because nobody else is, right? do the boring stuff because nobody else is, and that's what's gonna put you up on top as well. So sorry. So I just kind of contradicted myself there, but hey, you're gonna have to roll with it. So, all right, Larry, you were gonna ask a question earlier. You kind of raised your hand.
It's a little after the fact, but I understand what people are saying about their current position rate-wise if they bought in 2020. What I've been doing is I've been trying to offer them the opportunity to decide what they want to do with the equity they have in their home.
Yep.
Because they did buy at a great time, and I really respect the fact that they've got a low rate.
Yep.
So you can push at that point, the rental market, right, the investors market that you have connections to. You can also just talk to them and let them know, hey, look, I want to sell a house tomorrow, yesterday, next month, every day of every month. The flip side, as I told you, I'm with you for the long haul. If you want to do an addition or renovation or something like that, that's something else you can use your equity for. But if you don't know, you can't do any of those things, and that's kind of what I'm here for.
Exactly. Love that. You're exactly right. Yeah, a lot of, they have so much equity now, they can take and do home equity lines, and hey, you know what? You might not want to sell the house here, but you want to buy river property? Let's roll. You want to buy a piece of land? Let's go, right? So, yeah, you're 100% correct. Yep. Some great questions, guys. What other questions do y'all have in today's market? Wow. I was really hoping y'all were gonna kind of like fire off a lot of questions. So I apologize. This is my first one, so I was trying to figure out how long people have been in the room and what people are really looking for. So
I got a curious question. What does your team look like? How many people on your team?
Yep.
How long have they been there and that kind of stuff?
Yep. So on my team, we have 4 folks. And then we have one admin that handles all of our admin stuff. So Julie, she's full time. Do what?
4 agents and 1 admin.
4 agents and an admin. Yep. So so 2 of my agents are part time. One's a school teacher and one works at a local phone company. And then 2 of them are full time. So Tim and Catherine are full time. Carrie and Logan are part time. So yeah, they Tim has been with me since he got in the business. I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, I guess now. Catherine's been there for a couple of years. Carrie's been there for a couple of years, and Logan's new to the business. He was a referral agent, just went full time. So he's kind of a month into the business. So yeah, so it's fun and yeah. What other questions? So I think we were supposed to talk about dedication. We're supposed to talk about what it takes in today's market. What were the other topics you came up with to tell me to do, Logan?
It was, we did maybe a mastermind or maybe it was Hometown University. Everybody was always curious on like what prospecting actually looks like.
Yes.
So for you, what's your actual like daily, weekly? I feel like you're on the headset a whole lot. So what's your level of prospecting?
Yep. So my prospecting is if I'm not on the phone, I'm losing money. Right. So that's been my mentality since I've been in the business. I get, more profitability happens when I take the morning and say, I got we have a boat in Deltaville. So it's like, if I'm running down the road, it's an hour and a half down there. I can make more prospecting calls in that hour and a half than I typically would sitting in the office with 800 distractions, right? So anytime I'm in the car, I have a phone list of a number of people that I need to call, whether it's past clients, friends, family, somebody. I need to be on the phone. It's our job. I feel like when I got in the business, I know today's different. People are probably just texting and Facebook messaging and everything else, but for me, I'm a phone person. I'd much rather talk on the phone than type out an email. So for me, I'm on the phone. If I'm, I have my crazy headset that everybody makes fun of. Would you like fries with that? If I'm going somewhere, I have a list of 4 or 5 people I haven't talked to. We all have our CRM and it's popping up saying, hey, you haven't talked to this person in 3 or 4 months. So it's going through my call list of that. It's going through random leads that have come through. Who have I not reached out to? So my prospect, and I guess, so that's one step of it. You said I'm always on the phone. So if I'm driving somewhere, it's most likely probably a current transaction or just some friends, family, past clients I haven't talked to, I'm trying to talk to. But I do the daily, right, your hour of prospecting to just cold people that web leads or different lead sources that we have, just calling the cold prospects that won't answer the phone, won't return your text, and just keep on dialing. So yeah, so hour a day is what my prospecting looks like, and then in between is all of my past clients and reaching out to them. And it's funny you mentioned the CMA thing. That's one thing I've not done that I really need to, because my listings are not looking good for the next few months. So that's the one thing that I was actually just talking to my coach this morning about. So yeah.
Who do you use? Barry?
Barry.
Barry.
So, yeah, and I've been, so speaking of coaching, most of you guys are on a team, and every team is set up differently. Most likely your team lead is your coach. They're doing a lot for you. I've been in and out of coaching for years, and I just tell you, I'd do much better when the coach is there holding you accountable. It's an accountability partner, to say, hey, did you do your marketing? Did you make your calls? What have you done differently this week? Have you worked on your business versus in your business? What are you doing? So I kind of need somebody to smack me upside the head every once in a while and say, get it straight. So yeah, so great point. Yes.
Let's say that it's more for the benefit of the newer agents. It's I think 2 o'clock, 2:30 represents a period of time in every office where you don't see many cars in the parking lot after that.
Yep.
And I'd love to assume that everybody's going to appointments and stuff for the afternoon. But let's say that an agent is kind of sitting there and it's like, man, it's 2:30 and I feel like I'm the only one around here. What's one thing that agent could do, in your opinion, before they left the office to call the day a win?
To call the day a win. So I would say, it kind of comes back to one of the sayings that I have is, do what others are not doing today, so that tomorrow, and what is it? Sorry, I just messed it all up. Do today what others won't, so that tomorrow you can do what others can't, right? So go ahead at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you don't have an appointment, and if your phone is not ringing, you look in the mirror, right? It's your own fault. And I know it's really hard to hear when you're very new in the business, but to the new folks in the business, keep going after it, right? So I just have to say, keep going after it. It's gonna take a few months, 6 months, it'd probably smack me if I say close to a year, but give it some time, right? So give it some time, keep making those phone calls, it's gonna turn. You're gonna wake up one day and all of a sudden you're gonna have like 5 contracts that solidify that weekend. So specifically, what do you do in the afternoon? What I would always do, I remember when I was new in the business, one of the things that got me through a lot of times is I would think is, what would Mike Chenault be doing right now, right? So he's a little different right now than he was when I first got in the business, right? So when I first got in the business, this is when everybody actually had an office phone. We get a broad message through the whole office at like 4 a.m., right? He's up and working. He's up and hounding. When he's sitting, I remember him telling me one day, and this is probably awful, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyway, sitting there watching TV, supposed to be watching TV, but he's scrolling through Facebook, messaging, right? Not just scrolling, but messaging friends and people, acquaintances that he hadn't seen over the years, right? So there was not a piece of idle time. And that's what kind of has had me in this mindset the whole time. When I'm riding around in the car, the reason I'm on the headset is because I'm looking at, all right, what is Tommy doing? What is Mike doing? What is Stoney doing? What is Jero doing, right? So I'm thinking about all these people, Ben, Larry, all you guys, right? What are y'all doing that I'm not doing to sell that much real estate? What do I need to do, right? And it's get on the phone and make more calls. So to answer that question, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I don't have an appointment, I'm gonna try to make at least 3, 4, 5 more calls. That's assuming I've already done my hour of power for the day. If I haven't done my hour of power of the day, then I'm doing my hour of power. But if it's 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm making phone calls. And when you're new to the business, one thing I always did, I've always been a big networker, right? So I'm out there at new networking events, meeting new people and having coffee. It's looking at your schedule. You should have appointments in the afternoon. You should set a coffee appointment in the afternoon. If you don't drink coffee, it's fine. I always drink water. I don't drink coffee. I get jittery. I can't do it. So, I'm drinking. so I show up to Starbucks. I'm the guy asking for tap water, right? Because I'm also cheap. So, so it's, let's go grab a coffee. Let's go grab lunch. It's reaching out to those folks. It can be past clients, breaking bread. They talk about breaking bread all the time. So if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't have appointments, and you've already done your prospecting, well, call somebody and see if you can find somebody to go break bread with that afternoon. So, or later on in the week, set those appointments for later on in the week. So, did that answer it? Did I ramble too much? I'm sorry.
Well done, sir.
Kind of get on a tangent. So, all right. What, any other questions? Yes.
I'm a big book nerd, always have been. So since I started, I've asked my team leader, my realtor workers, a book that you would recommend.
Yes. What is the book? It was the prospecting book, and I know you actually mentioned it last fall that I read. What is the name of that book? I just listened to it on tape. Hang on, I'll get you in a minute. I'll see if I can pull it up on tape. It's
I really like.
what to say. What to say for real estate prospecting, right? Isn't that the name of it? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's what to say, and it's actually for real estate agents is one of them. Good to Great is one that I think just kind of a general business book that I think everybody should read. Atomic Habits is another good one. Atomic Habits, if you kind of, try to get rid of your bad habits, try to make some small ones and let them grow, let them turn into something great. And then Never Split the Difference is a good negotiating one. So Chris Voss wrote that one. So yeah, that's a couple of. I wish I was a book nerd. I do not read enough. So reading is a great thing. So let's roll on that right there. That's one thing that my coach is yelling at me for right now. He said, Kevin, mention Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, some of these great coaches in the world. How much time per day do you think Tom Ferry, he runs, does everybody know who Tom Ferry is? So, all right. How much time a day do you think he spends on learning every day? Anybody?
An hour?
3 hours.
3? Anybody else? I was told 4. 4 hours a day he's working on his business, not in his business. Whether that's listening to different podcasts, reading different books, figuring out what the next step is, what the next trend is. 4 hours a day. I was like, wow, that's mind-boggling. The number of videos that guy puts out, how does he have 4 hours a day to do that? I can't even put out the number of videos he does. Anyway, so work on your business. Learn what's going on. Learn market trends. Know what is selling in your market, right? So be the knowledge broker that everybody talks about. Make sure you're looking at your hot sheets every day. Okay, I know that these handful of houses just hit the market that day. So another great thing to do if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't have appointments, everybody else is gone, you've gone through your call list, look and see what's new if you haven't already done it. That should be part of your process, right? So anyway, yes, look and see what's on the market, right? So look and see what's on the market, know what's happening. You might not have a buyer looking in Louisa, but just play around. What are houses going for out there? You might have somebody looking right here in Henrico that's frustrated because they can't find the house and say, I tell you what, I know you're frustrated. You really want to be at 250. You can't find the house right here. I just want you to know, I know you don't want to be there, but hey, this house just popped up right over here in Hanover, right over here in Louisa. It's kind of, it's a pretty big house. It is a little more land. You might not want to be there, but I just want to know where the houses are in your price range. That's my job, is to educate you, and I just want you to know. Louisa's a little far-fetched from Henrico, so please don't use that example, but try to go just outside of their area, right? So buyers are liars, I love this. So buyers are liars. So I use that example to say, I know, this is where you're looking. Let's expand that search a little bit. You can get exactly what you want in this neighborhood over here. Yes, all right, I was getting ready to say something earlier and I lost that track, but anyway.
Good thing you don't have coffee.
Yes. Sorry, I get a little excited. I love real estate. It's fun. Oh, that's where I was going. So, morning routines. Who has a routine like you do every day? Everybody, right? So, in this business, you can get really sidetracked, right? So, what does it take to make it in today's market? Get a routine together, okay? One thing that I try my best to do, and I'm not perfect, but I try my hardest. My mornings are my time where I don't want outside appointments, okay? I try not to have any appointments until after 12 o'clock is my goal for any day during the week, okay? Unfortunately, the out-of-town people, and they gotta see and everything, you know, that happens. But try to take, and for me personally, I love getting up early. See a few of you guys in the morning. I've been a little slacker this week, sorry. Baseball's been taking me till 11:30 at night. I can't wake up that early to get there this week, so sorry. Typically, you know, I love waking up. The best thing for me is I love a great morning workout. Just get your day started and then getting into the office and get rolling. I personally love to get in the office before everybody else does because it's quiet. I can get set up and I can get rolling. My morning time is for me to figure out, check some quick headlines, see what's going on in the world. So I have talking points to talk about something other than real estate every once in a while. I look and see, you know, what emails have kind of come in. Y'all should yell at me because I shouldn't do that till later in the day, but I do anyway. And then I'm gonna look at the hot sheets. You know, what came on the market yesterday? What happened? Where are we? You know, what clients do I have that could potentially look at those? I'm gonna shoot off some emails first thing in the morning that says, hey, this house just hit the market. Do you wanna go take a look at it? Hey, did you overlook this one? How come you didn't tell me we wanna go take a look at it, right? So it's reaching out to your current buyers that are hot, that are active, and then making your phone calls, right? So my morning time is spent kind of in that business, working on that, talking to my clients, making my calls before I go out in the afternoon and let the craziness of the day kind of take over, right? So you're young in the business, you know, kind of newer, you're probably like, I don't need to worry about that. I can kind of fit it in where I want. Start now. Make those habits now. Make that time that you know is unforgiving. Put those appointments on the calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So once you get busier, you're gonna get busier, right? You're with a great company, you're with great teams, you're gonna get busier. When you do, you're ready for it. So make sure you've got that schedule, that routine down, and that's gonna set the stage for success later on. So yeah. Awesome. What else we got?
What did you do before real estate?
Worked at the phone company. So I was in their marketing / pricing. I was pricing analyst for the phone company. So it was, yeah, fun times. I will say this, before that, I was with a computer training company. You want to talk about there's this thing called the white pages. Most of you in here don't know what it is. They had the blue pages that were in front of the white pages, right? That was a list of every business that was in the Richmond area. My job was to dial every single business in the Richmond area and say, who do you know who at your company is in charge of all your computer training needs? We would love to offer you a free class to come out and take a look at the new Excel products. I said that way too many times. So my very first job was working at a computer training center. I was in a cubicle on a headset, dialing nonstop, all day long. There was really no break. I couldn't get out and show houses. I couldn't get out and do anything else. I was stuck at that desk all day long. And I think that kind of set the stage for what happened years later when I ended up getting into real estate, because I didn't care. Because I was doing that for 8 hours a day. So in real estate, I can easily do it for 2 or 3 hours a day. That's no big deal. And at least I'm having fun conversations, talking about stuff that people want to talk about, which is real estate. So that's awesome. So instead of getting hung up on, why'd you call 3 times today? Oh, sorry. so yeah, so that was fun. So that's what I did, sorry. What time is it? What other questions we got?
The only thing else I was thinking of, especially if it's like newer agents, you mentioned basically if you were to start all over again, or if you were to plant yourself in a brand new market and didn't have all the past sales or past relationships, sounds like you would definitely do open houses. What else would you do to find like new people, because I know when I first started, my frustration was every single training was call your past clients, pop by your past clients,
Yep.
Meet with your past clients. It's like, well, I have one.
Great question. Yes,
This will be a very
it's a great
full
point.
calendar.
So, I'm a new agent, just started today. What am I gonna do? I am open houses every weekend, right? I'm on a team so that I know what's going on, which most all of you are, right? I am networking my face off, right? So that's what I did when I was first in the business. I mentioned it earlier. I networked all the time. You can find an event to go to every single night in Richmond that is a networking event. You can, go to them, right? I had lunch networking events I was going to. I had evening networking events I was going to. When you're at those networking events, you have to work them. You have to talk to people. You have to carry on real conversations. Don't worry about meeting everybody in the room. Just have 3 or 4 or 5 good conversations. And then the next event, they'll still be there. Then the next event, they'll be there. Then you start growing that number. Then you start growing that number, right? After that event, have coffee with them. Get to know them. People don't know. I already said it earlier. People don't care about what you have to say until they know you care. They can't tell that you care until you sit down with them one-on-one, ask them about who they are, what they do, how can you help them. So I would network, I would do open houses, I would be on a team, and you just have to keep going. And that's how I would get started. Yeah, and then in this day and age, I would probably, for sale by owners, expired. I know there's a handful of for sale by owners. It's a tough market right now for sale by owners and expireds, but they're starting to come up. So I would definitely reach out to them and just see what they're doing. One of the things, everybody's on social media. If you're heavy on social media, one of the little tips I've been after my team, go find cool listings. Go find a great view of a house, or a cool pool, or a cool basement room, and take a quick video of it. It doesn't have to be more than 15, 20, 30 seconds. Hey guys, I was out showing this house, thought you'd love to see this pool. Who do you know that's looking for a pool like this? I'd love to talk to them. Tell them to give me a call and let's go find one. Or, whatever. That's probably not the right script. Somebody smarter than I can come up with a better script, but show off something, right? So let your friends, family know that you're in the business. So yeah. Awesome. What's next? Nothing?
Kevin, this was great. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Awesome, good. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm sure y'all all have my email. It's in the email. If you have any questions, need anything, we're always here to help. That's the one thing that I absolutely love about Hometown. That's why I've never left. That's why I don't plan to ever go anywhere, is because all along the way, everybody's always been willing to help. There's a friendly face. Everybody's nice. Everybody's helpful. It's fantastic. So if you ever need any of us in the room, we're all here to help each other. Feel free to reach out, let us know. So awesome. And the only other thing I'll say is that if you ever, what other topics do y'all want to talk about or hear in the future? Anything? Great. Money Management 101. I need to come to that one. So.
You missed Ben's class on time management.
Time management? What's that all about? What's that?
Always be 15 minutes early.
Always be 15 minutes early? Yep.
He got here at 105. He said 107. He got here at 105. So.
Yes.
That's true.
He
You did beat your
exceeded
ETA.
his expectations.
They weren't Mike minutes. Everybody know what a Mike minute is? It's like
Mike-
a dog year.
Yeah.
1 minute, 1 for 7. If he says 7 minutes, that could be
49.
45. Yeah.
That is like Mexican minutes too.
Yeah.
Mexican Mike.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. It's a blast. All right.